What up, guys? Welcome back. Yes, it's been a while. I've been traveling, went to Germany for work, and so kind of came back, been catching up with things. But primarily, been trying to kind of work with these people to really set up the next series of reviews for you guys, because today we'll be looking at a brand that we haven't talked about, haven't seen for a real long time. And like years ago now, when I first started this blog, this is one of the first ones that we looked at, and one of the first phenomenal like products or brands that we looked at. And so today we'll be looking at the Daimon Barber and the textured clay, formerly known as the number 4. So if you guys recall, from a real long time ago, we looked at the original pomade, which was like a water-based pomade, which if used correctly didn't dry up into the same extent that we saw other gel pomades, which is what made them stand out so much. They're a brand from London, so here in the US you saw a lot of use. It was pretty expensive to import, but now they've established a US distributor, or rather can basically ship within the US to US, and so we can now get this product finally at a very affordable price. And we also then look at the oil base a few years later, and now we're finally looking at their textured clay. Basically they rebranded their entire line and are expanding like crazy. And so we'll start off by looking at what we're kind of most interested in right now, which are clay products. And we'll start off by looking at the jar. So this is the newly designed jar. As you guys recall from like years ago, their design work used to be mostly like serif fonts, very classic and kind of ornamental in a way, mostly like printed with adhesive labels, waxed adhesive labels, but now they print directly on the jar, very minimal, very much just text-based design. You have decals on the top, the front, and information and ingredients, directions, blah 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 on the back side. This is a 100-gram jar, so we're talking about like kind of metric units. European products are always like this, and so that translates to about 3.5, so just a half ounce under our standard 4 ounce. Very nice glass jar, thigh gap. Opening it up, you see the product inside has a very much the standard clay tone color, kind of just off-white. And let's go ahead and start using it. Now, in regards to the smell, this probably sits at the best smelling pomade, or at least my favorite smelling pomade up until this point. Now, the original one was good. It was definitely nice, low rose. The second one, that kind of like pepper mixed with some sort of like citrus, I believe that was the original scent, or no, like a berry mixed with like pepper. That was cool, but I wasn't a big fan of it. But this one, fig and frankincense, is like a very nice, complex. It reminds me, even though it obviously lacks the woodiness, but it reminds me a lot of my like Comme des Garçons like cologne, and it gets very close, and it's a damn nice smell. Anyways, so scooping it out is pretty easy. It's definitely on the softer side of other clays that we've used, and breaking it down in your palms, it's definitely a lot smoother. So in comparison to kind of other clays we've used in the recent past, such as the first hand styling clay, or what else have we really used? I mean, high rise, Arcadian clay, other things like that. It breaks down a lot easier in the hands, but it gets just as grippy in your hair. So definitely don't go overload, because you would definitely regret it once you start applying to your hair. Like similar to high rise, where it's a little soft in your hands, it definitely gets grippy when it gets into your hair later on, and you don't want to overdo it, or else it'd just be next to impossible to apply. And just given the overall like feel of it in the hair, it kind of feels like I'm gonna get a lot of volume out of this product, and so I think I'll only need one additional small scoop and I should be good. But I also smell it right now. It smells very nice. Scooping it feels really cool. It just feels like a nice soft clay to scoop out. Not like kind of, the Arcadian is kind of on the wetter side. Lockhart's matte clay, Baxter's California clay pomade, And even the styling clay are a little tougher and thicker, but this one is definitely smooth. That's the best way to describe it. But yeah, so go ahead, just start combing things back, really just making sure that it's applied evenly. So if you were a little over eager like me, combing it back through that, at least like the first few strokes might be a little difficult because you really need to kind of get all the product even, and you might have some clumps. But if you're a little smarter about it, I recommend kind of splitting it into 3 or 4 different scoops, still using like the same amount. That makes sure it's evenly distributed. It makes combing through a much easier process. But once you comb through it like once, it's all easy, as you can see. But yeah, go ahead, start styling now. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here real quick before I start texturing it up, just because I want to show you guys something cool that I really like out of like some clay pomades. Like some clay pomades still allow you, if you want to style like a clean pomp, you just get a more matte, even more volume, and just like a more natural look to it. But you can still get like a clean, standard, traditional like pompadour out of it. And I mean, Daimon Barber is obviously, their texture clay is one of those products. But yes, so go ahead, still move forward and texture it up. But yeah, and so this is the final look, and I mean, it looks freaking damn good. My hair hasn't looked this good in a few weeks. This is nice. I mean, the texture is definitely on the coarse side, on the dry side, but very much like you're still definitely in control of your hair. Like overall application, it's definitely really grippy. Shine, this is like definitely like a good notch below neutral. Strength, this is a strong pomade. It's not a heavy one. The weight is like definitely on like the light, medium light. You can argue that, but I would still say light. And so that really allows the strength to really be optimized. It's not like a super strong pomade, but the weight and the strength ratio really allows you to get a lot of volume, and the clay aspect allows you to kind of dry out your hair a bit to really optimize that volume. And the texture, coarse side, very nice and freaking beautiful. So the big challenge now is going to see how well it like fares throughout the whole day, and we'll talk about that in a few hours. Oh, but I also wanted to say, so as you can see from my side, it's kind of like last time I got a haircut was like almost a month ago. And the issue I've been having is my kind of sides, kind of just trying to calm them down, kind of dull them out. And like definitely this texture clay has done probably one of the best jobs at it. Had some issues with some other clays this week, but for the most part, water tends to activate my hair, causing my sides to stick up. And even though this is like a water-based clay product, like my sides, thanks to the clay, are really calm. They want to sit down, and they didn't fight back at all. Plus, in comparison to some other clay pomades, which tends to like clump up my sides a bit, this one doesn't at all. Like it is truly provides a coarse texture, but also fine enough texture to where like your hairs don't really clump up together in the same way that like a traditional pomade does. So like I would say the stickiness is definitely just very minimal with this product. But alright, see you guys in a few hours. Okay, so now we are near the end of the day, and I thought I was going to come into this kind of later portion saying that this product is basically not restylable, but honestly, I was proven wrong. I came in basically endurance wise, like it was pretty windy today, so my pump like fell apart and stuff like that. I still had a little bit of volume. I was able to finger comb things back just to keep it nice and neat and to maintain some sort of like aesthetics, because kind of when I have a clay product, I understand that it's likely to mess up. I don't want it to, I prefer not to, but of course, like it always, for the most part, gets like messy to some extent. And so what I want to be able to do is kind of at least tuck in the sides still towards the center and keep a little bit of volume in the front, and you're definitely able to do that. Now the product kind of felt super light. It almost feels like the product, it almost looks like the product isn't there anymore. And so I figured maybe restyling is probably not going to be possible. It's probably going to be a big downside of this product. But before I started the video, I came in, tested it with my comb, and I was actually able to like definitely restyle, reshape it, and rework it with like the comb. Because even though there was only a little bit of stickiness there from the beginning, that stickiness, that it's still there, and so you can really still keep things together, get some texture, keep it like where you want it, and really control it into something that still looks like very representable and good. But yeah, what else? Thankfully, because it does feel dry from the beginning, it doesn't feel even any more dry throughout the whole day, and so that's good. I guess surprisingly so, one of the biggest things is just that how this product feels at the beginning of the day, it really feels like the same throughout the entire day, which is like very good. But yeah, so at the end of the day, like, I mean, it obviously receives my seal of approval. To say it's the best wouldn't be really correct, because at this point we're starting to see clays be very different even within the same category, because I mean best doesn't really make sense anymore. They're all just very different in a way. For example, Arcadian clay, very smooth, lots and a shitload of texture, with very like, has a little more weight than this, is a little more damp, and kind of styles very differently. Whereas this one, in comparison to like Arcadian, is just much stronger, more similar to like high rise, actually very similar to high rise in many ways, but is lighter than high rise, kind of like tucks away, isn't as kind of dense or as present as high rise, so a little more gentle, just a little bit, but still very like very strong, with lighter weight, and a fragrance or aroma that is quite amazing. So I would definitely recommend considering this if you're gonna look into clay products. Plus, now that they established like they're able to fulfill within the US, so basically if you order above $35, I read that you're able to get free shipping. It's much quicker. It's no longer coming from the UK anymore. And plus, we do have a promo code for you guys, the Pomp, all caps, save you guys 10% off your order. And it is a single use, or at least I was told so, that it's a single use, so do make use of that single use very smartly. But if you do have to order again, I guess you gotta order through your friends, like order, just combine it or something. But yes, out of the way, we offer that for you guys to save money. And we're going to be looking at the other products in the near future. So I hope you guys got something out of this review, and I'll see you guys again. Peace.